am muted. I am muted. I've been doing all that talking. Thank you, somebody. All right. So let's try that again. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge. This is your host. I've never done that before, I don't think. But anyway, it's okay. It's all good. It's Monday. You know what happens on Mondays, the day after Sunday, after the weekend. All right. So let's start all over again. Welcome to Miss G's Ladies Lounge. I am your host, Gwen Finley, Miss G. That's me. Yep, I do that all over again. All right. So I'm so excited to be here on tonight. I have an amazing, amazing guest that is with me on tonight. Before we get started, though, I'd like to invite you to please take a moment to like, tag, and share. Let someone know that we are live and popping. We're ready. We are ready, 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 ready for this great, amazing chat that's going to take place on tonight. I'd like to take a moment to welcome all of our live viewers. And then if you are catching the replay, we welcome you also. And thank you for joining us on this week. Now, today is Monday. This is our last Monday in August. Can you believe it? I said to my coworker today, it's almost Christmas. He said, be quiet. It is really almost Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of that good stuff. So the year is moving, and we have so many great things that's about to happen, but we want to make sure that we live every day on purpose, right? Live every day the best that you can. So tonight we're getting ready for our guest. If you have not done so, please like, tag, share, let someone know. We are live and we're ready. We have some people popping on in, and we're going to pop on and get your chats in just a few minutes. But first, I'd like to introduce you to my guest. You know how I do. Let's say our word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all things. We thank you because we recognize who you are, and we recognize that it was no goodness of our own that we are even here on tonight. But because of you, because of your mercy, your grace, and your love, we have made it to this very hour. And we say thank you. I want you to bless my guests. I pray that you would bless them abundantly. I pray that you would bless each and every person that joins us in the audience on tonight. And those that will hear this and hear it, whether it's live or the replay, I pray that it will touch them and that it will inspire them and encourage them to do a greater work. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, so there we have it. Let's talk about my guest on tonight. Woohoo! We have coming up, as they say, coming to the stage, Miss Yolanda Hall. Miss Yolanda Hall. Oh my goodness. She is a native New Yorker. Y'all already know. Don't even act like you don't know. Native New Yorker in the house who currently resides in Virginia. She is a graduate of Virginia Commonwealth University, whose life's work has been dedicated to educating, empowering, and introducing young people to the best version of themselves so they can stay active in their pursuit towards greatness. Yolanda Hall is the owner of Unbreakable Minds Youth Life Coaching. Unbreakable Minds provides individual and small group life coaching services to youth ages 15 through 25. They also train and facilitate conversations with adults working in youth serving organizations to assist them in providing healthy, nurturing relationships, creating safe spaces, and becoming overall change agents in the lives of young people. The mission of Unbreakable Minds is to introduce teens and young adults to the best versions of themselves and guide and support them on a journey to living their best life with purpose and on purpose. She has served 4 years as a prevention coordinator at Henrico Area Mental Health Prevention Services. And she also organizes community based after school programming for youth, parent education, community empowerment, and trains educators and community groups on creating environments that promote safety and wellness for youth. There's so many things on here that I just would like to tell you all about them all. But for the sake of time, we're going to just skip through some of them. But I just want you to know that Yolanda is a certified professional life coach. She ain't just out here doing something. She is a certified professional life coach. She is a pupil personnel. She also holds a pupil personnel services license, Master of Education and Guidance and School Counseling, and a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. All right, so we are so excited to have with us. I want you to get your drum sets, your pom poms, your whatever it is, your spoons, whatever, your knives, bang them together and help me welcome my guest on today, Miss Yolanda.
Hey, we in here. Not the spoons, man. Not the spoons.
Get the spoons. That's what they used to do, right? And bang them together, whatever you got to do. Make some
Whatever
noise.
you have, just make some noise. That's right. That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, everybody. It's great to be here.
Awesome. I am so excited to have you. It is certainly my pleasure to have you here on the show with me on tonight. And I tell you, it's been a long time coming, but I'm glad that we finally made it to this point to have you here with us. So we're gonna get into a whole lot of stuff here. I want to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to start out by asking you first, how did you even get started and what drives your passion for youth?
So, the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? I don't even remember what my answer was, but when I left home, when I left our Rockaway, Queens, I was like, I'm going to school to be a pediatrician, right? And
Oh.
look, I didn't have a life coach, and so I just was like, that's what I want to do. I'm out here.
Mhm.
I came to Virginia Union. I was a biology major, and I realized that I wasn't in the right place to be a pediatrician. But by that time, 2 years had gone by, right? And so
Mhm.
you learning as you live, not really getting advice, people not telling you the best route to take, you just trying to figure it out. And so that's what I did. And then when I realized I was in the wrong place and I transferred to Virginia Commonwealth University, um, I got there and they were like, you know what? We're not taking 13 of your credits. So what you gonna do?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. So after changing my major a couple of times and doing what we do just to try to graduate and complete
Right.
our task, I got the degree in psychology. And so I was like, you know what? I want to teach. And somebody
Mhm.
sent me into a classroom, and that teacher told me that she had to wait for somebody to come and relieve her from the bathroom, and she couldn't move when she wanted to move, and she could. I said, no, that's not for me. So, so,
Keep
so
it real.
oh my gosh. So the pediatrician was out the window. The teacher was out the window. I was like, what can I do to still work with young people? Because,
Mhm.
that's something that I knew I enjoyed from doing volunteer work over the years and just being
Mhm.
surrounded by young people. I was like, this is where I want to be, but how can I serve? And I found out about the Masters in Guidance and School Counseling program, right? So I could still be in the school, but I wasn't tied to my
Right.
desk or my classroom. I could move around and make an impact throughout the building
Yeah.
and see people and just create that environment. So I became a school counselor in 2001. And when I tell you I fell in love with my career, which a lot of people
Wow.
don't do, I fell in love with it. I was working in the middle school and I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I didn't want to be with the babies. And then at that time I was looking extra, extra young. So I was in the high school getting hit
Right.
on. So I said, you know what? Let me
Right.
go to middle school. Where is safe? And I had a blast and served as a school counselor for 15 years, and just knew that that was my passion, that was my purpose, that was where I wanted to be. And, things just evolved from there. So I served 15 years as a school counselor before I came to Henrico Mental Health, like you said. And so I know you'll ask some more questions, but
Yeah.
that's
That's
how I recognize
awesome.
it. That
That's
was
awesome.
my passion and purpose by just being in it,
Yeah.
because if it wasn't, after a year, I would have been gone on to do something else.
Right. And sometimes, sometimes start out with one goal, and God may take you on a different path, and that's okay. I thought I was going to be an elementary school teacher,
Okay.
and all I did all my summers was to babysit kids. My
Right.
grandmother had babysitting services, and I was right there, and she would give me a kid to take for the summer while we were
Hmm.
out of school, and she would pay me for that. And I knew eventually that
Right.
wasn't my that wasn't my
Your
life.
calling.
And in
Right.
this day and time, I'm like, thank you, Lord. Even though I wish
Hmm.
I could be there to help the kids, but this day and time, I realized it was not for me to do.
Right.
However, God moved me into the area of nursing, and I started out as a pediatric nurse. And throughout my
Oh,
career, I worked in home health peds. So he still gave me the opportunity to work with the babies and the kids. I
absolutely.
like the babies. See, I don't
Right.
like them big ones. I love them, but
Yes. Right. And you got
but
to know where
yeah,
your gifts lie, right?
you gotta know where you belong. So let's just first, before we even go any further, let's holler at some people, because we got some folks over here. I think you might know some of them. I think you
Okay.
might know some of them. We got
Hmm.
we got brother Curtis over here. I think he might be.
Yes. Yes.
I think
Coach
he might be
Curtis.
the boo thing.
Yes, he is. He is my
So we
cheerleader, always in the room.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad he wasn't afraid to come on in the ladies' lounge. And
Oh,
we
absolutely.
have my faithful cousin here, Marie, who is joining us from Florida. Thank you so much, Marie. And then we have somebody else I think you might know. That
Yeah,
might be Mama.
that is Mama is in
Hey,
the
hey,
building. Yes.
hey.
Hey.
Thank you, Miss Barbara Harris is joining us. Barbara Harris Limes.
Yes, I
So,
know her too.
yeah, and I love my family. I love my family. So, thankfully, you are a part of my family.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay!
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, my family is awesome. I love it. I love it. There's
Mhm.
so much. I mean, I could just do all shows with just my family. We
Yes.
do share the
Yes.
wealth, though.
Take you
But
through the
I'm
whole
just so
year.
excited for this opportunity with you. So let's get to some more of our wonderful topic here on today, and we're actually just talking about the power of coaching, and also empowering youth and young people, which is obviously very important. So I want
Yes.
to ask you, if you look back on your 16-year-old self, what would you or would you have imagined that you'd be coaching youth today? Why or why not?
Ugh, no. I wouldn't have imagined that I would be coaching youth. Probably, like I said, you know, working in the medical field, just because they say, oh, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go be so I'm like, I'm gonna strive for the top. I'm going to the highest.
Hmm.
But really not thinking on a granular level, like what that really meant, to serve young people. And so at that time, I was trying to figure it out myself, and I was like, if I could get out of these years, I don't know how much I want to look back, but
Right.
some of those experiences kind of fueled my path to get me to where I am today. So I'm grateful for that time. I have no regrets. But yeah, definitely, I don't think I would have thought that I would be here.
Right. Yeah. So you're not only working in the in the corporate arena, you work in with mental health prevention services, I believe you
Mhm.
said.
Yes,
But that's your, that's your little day, as
my
they
nine
say,
to
keep your
five.
day job. Keep your day
That's
job.
right.
But you always got to have something else and pursue your passion, pursue
Hmm.
what's inside of you. And even though your day job can be a part of your passion, it's a wonderful thing when you can extend that and actually embrace it and make it blossom to your own thing on in life.
Right.
So you decided to do that with Unbreakable Minds coaching. So tell
Yes.
us all about Unbreakable Minds coaching. Just tell us a brief, overview of
Mhm.
it, and when you started it and why you started it.
Well, Unbreakable Minds was birthed out of my desire to serve young people, like you said, without walls, right? Without limits. Excuse me. Working for, excuse me, local government and working for the school system. There's always a box to a certain extent that you got to kind of stay in,
Mhm.
right? And then you have access to the parents, but it's not as intimate. And so, we're in a pandemic, and I'm hearing on the news, I'm seeing in the schools, just the struggles that young people are facing. And when you are sitting there figuring out how can I be a part of the solution, and I knew I wanted to start a business, but really wasn't sure, right? And so I joined a group coaching program, and through that coaching program, being coached myself
Mhm.
was pivotal in me making a decision that, oh my gosh, the transformation that I experienced in such a short period of time in a room with other people, that if that
Mhm.
could happen for me, I could provide that for a young person. And I hadn't heard of a lot of youth life coaches. I knew it existed, but I didn't know, I didn't know any personally. And
Right.
so I felt like in this area, this was a way that I could serve. And so February 2021,
Mm.
my coach recommended this coaching organization. And so she, you know, by her
Mhm.
recommendation, I said, you know what, I'm gonna step out. I don't even have the money, but we're gonna figure it out, right? And so I
Right.
went and took the certification, and I posted the certification on Facebook, and I
Yeah.
got my first client. Someone I knew
Yeah.
called me and was like, I saw your certificate. Did you start yet? Like, where do I sign up? Right. And I'm going
Right.
looking, making sure I'm saying the right thing and doing the right thing. And she was like, I already know. I know the value, and my
Mhm.
kids need some support. I need some support. And that was validation for me, right? That was, like God sending me that, like, you feel like you're not qualified yet, but God
Right.
was like, you know what? I got you. You have 20
Yeah.
years of experience, right?
Absolutely.
You just haven't been called a
Absolutely.
coach. You were called a counselor. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so we're going on 2 years now. And it's been an amazing journey, meeting some amazing people that's out there doing that work. I call it the hard work, not hard work, but the hard work.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes, yes.
awesome. That is
Mhm.
awesome. And so, are there specific, or targeted individuals and youth that you work with? Because some people only work with behavioral or intellectually disabled or
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah. So, what is your targeted group that you work with?
Yeah, so the population that I focus on are, I say high school, college, and newly adulting, right? So if
Mhm.
you're between the ages of 15 and 25, I'm here for it. And not to say that I, won't go any younger or any older, but this is the population that I want to focus on. You asked me about my 16-year-old self, and I think about the 16-year-olds today, and
Mhm.
just really needing that guidance. And I can say the same thing that the parents are saying at home. I could say the same thing that the teachers are saying in school, but it's almost like a badge of honor to have a coach as a young person, and I'm trying to
Right.
make sure that there's no stigma that gets attached to coaching because it is totally
Absolutely.
different than therapy or counseling. Um, and so, yeah, just really working with 15 to 25. And I consider myself a mindset coach, right?
Mm.
So it's not like any certain area in particular, like every area of your life and how your mindset is impacting your ability to show up as your true, authentic self, right? And to live your best life with purpose on
Mhm.
purpose. And a lot of times it just takes a little shift in mindset.
Mhm.
We're raised in certain environments and we're influenced by friends and media and social media and all this other stuff. And we forget who we are,
Yeah.
and young people in particular, they're very easily, well, not always, but sometimes easily influenced, and they see things that look like it's good, but they don't know how it's being altered to make them look a certain kind of way, so kids desire to be that, which is not reality, so
Mhm.
to help young people to first of all love themselves, because
Mhm.
self-love is at the root of all of it. And that's where a lot of the challenges come into place, because they do not have that self-love, that self-appreciation, the self-esteem, the confidence, all those things get broken based on experiences. And so
Mhm.
just to bring them back to their true selves and to embrace who they are and love who they are, regardless of what everybody on the outside is saying, right? When you have that
Mhm.
foundation, no one can break you and you become unbreakable. You might bend, but you won't break,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So that's Unbreakable Minds.
Yeah. Unbreakable Minds. So now you don't just work with the youth themselves, you also, as we stated in your bio, you also work with adults who work, excuse me, in youth organizations and also even some parents. So tell us how that plays a role or how that coaching goes that you perform.
Hmm. And it mostly shows up as trainings or workshops,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes, especially coming out of the pandemic, mental health was a buzzword. Like everybody knew they needed to incorporate mental health into their services, but they didn't know how. And everybody gets nervous when you say mental health, and I'm like, mental health, like we're talking about the good stuff,
Health, right.
but somehow those two words together,
Right.
has a stigma. And so, a lot of organizations were out there trying to figure out how are we going to serve our kids, and they're coming back, with trauma, with loss, with
Mhm.
grief, with all of this stuff, and they were just really nervous about it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
they're still kids, they're still people. Think about yourself at that age, think about your own kids at that age. What do they need? Relationships. They need
Mhm.
relationships, and they need to know that they're supported, right? And so, I go into these spaces, whether it's churches, I've worked with churches and their youth groups. Um, I've been working recently with the Boys and Girls Club in Richmond,
Mhm.
and that has been
Nice.
an amazing ride.
Wow.
An amazing ride, yeah. Um, and just different organizations that serve youth, just showing them how to create safe spaces to be trauma informed and to
Mhm.
understand the impacts of trauma and the environment that they need to create in order for kids. Because just like in schools, when the schools open back up, the the staff were terrified,
Mhm.
and I went on some trainings with the school system, coming out of Henrico schools, going into Henrico mental health. It was a perfect bridge because I had that connection. So people
Oh,
knew, oh, let me call Yolanda and see if there's some kind of training that we go offer our staff so that they just feel
mhm.
more comfortable and more at ease welcoming these young people back into the building, knowing they've experienced so much over these 2 years. So working with the schools and just all those organizations, and just teaching them strategies, something as simple as mindfulness, right? And
Mhm.
being in the present moment and learning how to breathe and the
Mhm.
benefits of just breathing, right? We
Breathe.
just breathe, right? Teaching them how to breathe the right way, but then showing
Mhm.
them how to incorporate that into their classroom. I know
Right.
we have tests, I know we have SOLs, and I know we have, all these marks that we need to meet. But at the end of the
Right.
day, these are little human beings,
Mhm. Right.
right? Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so when you see being trauma informed formed means that when you see the behaviors, that the behavior is not intentional. Behavior is a form of communication. And if I can't
Mhm.
figure out a way to communicate with my mouth or my words, then it's going to show up in my behavior. And we need to know that it's not intentional. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Miss So and so,
Mhm.
or Mr. So and so. I'm just going through something right now.
Right.
So how
Yeah.
can you help me feel safe?
Hmm. That's good. That's
And so
good.
that's what we do. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Let's just greet a few more. Hello, Candace. Thank you for
Ooh,
joining us
Candace.
on today.
Yes. Hey,
And
Candace.
then we have Adrienne, and she said teaching mindfulness and breathing techniques are valuable. So I'm
Yes.
guessing she's working on those lines as well. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, I mean, I heard did I think I saw something also on your bio, and I could be wrong, but just correct me if I am, about the
Mhm.
military. Do you work with military as well? Um,
So, yeah, so what you saw, so my husband, he served in the military for 15 years. And so I was a military spouse for 9 of those years.
mhm.
And, I never thought I would leave Virginia. I thought I would be here, find my husband, get married, have some kids, and it would be it. But I met him and he was in the military, and we had to PCS to Iowa. So we moved to Iowa, And there I served as a tutor in the ESL program, right? So I was still working with young people in middle school. And then I got a position as a high school counselor, right? They made me the
Okay.
ninth grade counselor, but it was a military community. So I worked with a lot of
Mhm.
military children. And then we PCS to Texas. And I actually worked
Mhm.
on a military installation. It was a military school where probably 95% of the kids were military dependents. Um,
Wow.
so that was a whole different just a whole
Yeah.
different situation. And that's
Yeah.
where I learned about mindfulness. That's where I
Yeah.
learned about mindfulness.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that takes a lot right there, just with all the moving around and being placed and displaced and
hmm
replaced and all the
Exactly.
places,
All of
so
it.
that's a lot, especially on a young mind. So that's awesome.
Right.
So you have a well-rounded capability of working with different types of youth. It's not just they have to be good little girls and boys, or the
Right.
best little girls and boys, or the worst little girls and boys. So that's
Exactly.
awesome.
They just have to be coachable,
Coachable,
right?
coachable.
And willing
Yeah,
and ready to do the work, to want more, to desire more for themselves, and just show up like, okay, put me in the game, coach, right?
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
here for it. Yeah.
So with that, do you offer like specific types of programs, or is it generalized program? How do you determine, okay, if I have a 25-year-old versus a 15-year-old, or, a young lady who has a child or whatever, how do you determine how you're going to coach them?
Right. So, with all of them, it's life coaching. So just like how you envision life coaching for adults,
Hmm.
that's how I show up as a life coach for the teens, and it's something that most of them have never experienced. Right. So there's the one-on-one coaching where they are the driver, their
Hmm.
hands are on the steering wheel, right? They are saying, this is what I want my life to look like. This is the
Hmm.
desires that I have, that I want to achieve, and I am in the passenger seat, right? And
Right.
I am looking ahead, and I'm looking at the curves that's coming up, and I'm looking at the
Hmm.
bumps that's in the road. And or if I'm not looking at them, I already know they're up there because they've been up there for
Yeah,
every other young person, right?
right.
Right. So we co-create what it looks like to achieve those goals, right? And with the whole mindset piece, all of the coaching focuses on, what are my thoughts or beliefs or the mindset that I currently have that's preventing me from being who I want to be, or going where I want to go, or doing what I want to do. Right. So that's what all of it has in common.
Okay.
For the high school kid, well, for all of them really, we offer the individual, but then there's small group, because we know that there's
Mhm.
power in the group, right? There's the
Right.
diversity of thought. We may all be 16, but if we all are growing up in different environments and having different experiences, there's power in that group that they can learn from each other, from their peers. My job is just to assemble the group and provide the safe space, right? And
Right.
then to just facilitate the conversation, and have them help each other while I'm just there guiding them. So there's the
Mhm.
individual, there is the small group, and then there's workshops, like we do vision board workshops. And I did
Mhm.
a couple of those over the during the pandemic. So we did it virtual, and I'm
Mhm.
here in here, the music is playing, and I'm jumping around, like we really had to make a whole experience out of it, right?
Right.
But now we're, getting back face to face, and so we're able to do some of those things. And just when I said I didn't, coach adults, like older adults, someone invited me to do a vision board session for the Richmond Homicide Survivors Support Group. And I
Okay.
was like, oh my goodness, right? And
Mhm.
these are all adults, they were all women who were,
Mhm.
between 30 and probably 50 years old.
Mhm.
And they just, the same types of needs that the young people have. They were not making themselves or their mental health, their emotional health, a priority, and they needed to be reminded, right?
Mhm.
And so, not to dismiss the grief that they're experiencing, not to dismiss, their loss, um,
Mhm.
they gave up a lot, and some of them have gotten stuck in that moment and they're not fulfilled, and if you don't do something about it, then you start asking yourself questions like, why am I here? And so I
Right.
felt I was totally on assignment with that. And I went and did
Mhm.
that. It was absolutely amazing. And so that's another offering that I'm thinking about doing because
Yeah.
it's so powerful. It was so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
So putting themselves first, and then also what are some things you put off that you want to get back to. So we did that. And then again, just different workshops. So, we work on confidence, motivation, goal setting, communication, right? So again, being
Mhm.
able to use those words, because even as adults, we want to feel safe, right? And if we get into a
Mhm.
situation where I know I need to speak up for myself, but I feel like my safety might be, it might be a threat to my safety, then I might, hold back, shut down, be quiet. That
Mhm.
that stress response is going to take over, and
Right.
then who knows what can happen from there, where we can give communication skills, and we can teach them how to manage their lives and have healthy relationships, right? And be an active part. A lot of people wait for people to come into their lives,
Mhm.
but you have to create your own circle of support, and you have to say, these are the people I know I need in my life. I need a
Right.
mentor, right? Everybody
Right.
needs a mentor. Right? I need an
Mhm.
elder in my life, somebody who's older, and I
Mhm.
can go and get some of that old wisdom, right? I
Right.
need a friend who's going to tell me like it TI is, right? I need, know, that
Yeah.
homegirl that I can call 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Like all those people, I need them. So I need to seek those people out and then tell them, listen, you serve this purpose in my life. So if your phone rings at 3, it's probably me. I just need you to answer.
Yeah. You
Right?
answer
Don't
that
make them guess.
phone.
Yes, don't make them guess.
Wow.
So, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you have so much to offer. It's like not a question of, oh, is this going to be good for my child? you know,
Right.
uh, but let me kind of break that down a little bit. How can a parent actually assist their youth or their young adults to find the right coach or the right mentor? Um, just give us a few examples of things you would have tell them to ask or
Hmm.
to look
Hmm.
for when they're looking for a coach or mentor for their child.
Right. Well, I will say, I always say that there's 1 degree of separation between you and the person that you need to meet, right, or that you want to meet. And so, me personally, like I don't have a traditional website, right? I don't have post billboards. Like I don't do all of that. All of my services are provided by referral and word of mouth. So I had this awesome coach. Let me tell you about my coach. Or um, they just know me and they know that I've been doing this for 20 years. And so they say, so I would definitely recommend to a parent that, they reach out to people that they know. Like everybody knows somebody who's in the human services field, right? And everybody who's in the human services field, they know someone who does, this type of
Right.
work. And, so me personally, I'm not all about, going and Googling and trying to find a company. Sometimes, if it's something that you're doing that you can go through your insurance and you have to go through the network and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, then you have to do that. But when it comes to a coach, you can handpick the person that's perfect for them, right? And contacting a coach, all the coaches that I know doesn't cost a thing, right? When you call them and reach out to them,
Right.
they're going to have a conversation with you, and because we're always serving, right?
Mhm.
I believe we're always serving. And so if you call me just to find out about coaching, you might mess around and get coached. Like, like you want me to help you with that.
Right.
And you get to experience what coaching would be like. And you thought we were just going to have a conversation. I always ask permission first. Well, some of
Right.
my friends, I get into it and I'm like, oh, what just happened? But
Right.
but for the most part, if someone calls me, then it's going to be a couple of calls and a couple of conversations before we decide on coaching. I just acquired a new client just today, and I met her out in public at an event, and I said, listen, I'm having an event that is free. And so
Mhm.
if you come, she expressed interest in the coaching, but I said, I'm having a free event. So I want to give
Mhm.
you the opportunity to experience the environments and the safe spaces that I create. So if you
Right.
can come to that, then we can kind of get a vibe for each other. then we can have a conversation about
Mhm.
what it would look like for one-on-one. And it was seamless. We were like very comfortable with each other, and it was like old friends. Okay, you need some help, you need some to add to your village.
Mhm.
Right, let
Right.
me be a part of your village. And so
Mhm.
that's how it went. And so when you talk about giving parents advice on how to seek someone, you definitely want to make sure that somebody's not asking you for money at the door. You got to pay me to talk to me. It's not like that. Like, we're here to serve, and every coach is not for every person. Right,
Right.
so I may not be the right coach for you, but
Mhm.
and I'm absolutely fine with that. But I may be able to refer you to someone that will
Mhm.
work better dependent based on your needs. Right.
Right.
So yeah,
And the
you know,
conversation can lead to knowing what your needs are. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes people are like, I don't even know. Well, we
Right.
just need help.
Yeah.
We just need help. And that's what
Yeah.
the coach is all about, to help them get
Mhm.
clarity.
Mhm.
Right. Because sometimes you just need to talk it out loud.
Right.
And as a coach, I'm going to reflect back what you tell me. So you get to hear what you just said. And you're like, is that what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe that's not what I
Right.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
awesome. That's awesome. Do you offer, I know you said the so many of the life skills. I think I don't remember if you said financial in there. Do you work with the youth in building financial skills and, you know, things like
independent.
that?
Hmm. Well, yeah, because they are transitioning, right?
Mhm.
They're either coming into high school, so now they're going to be working soon. They have to
Mhm.
start managing their money. They have to start thinking about college. So, I don't consider myself a financial coach, but finances are a part of life. And
Mhm.
so, like I said, they're driving the train or driving the car. So if you come to me saying, I have a challenge in the area of
Mhm.
finances, then that's what they're going to work on. 9 times out of 10, it's not about, just dollars and cents. It's about maybe some beliefs that you have about,
Mhm.
maybe you have a scarcity mindset because, whatever your upbringing or your
Yeah.
experiences have been, we
Right.
got to hold on to it, right?
Yeah.
Or we don't know how to budget because we never learned how to
Mhm.
budget. So just really, um, a lot of times young people think that they can't because they haven't, but
Mhm.
and they have that belief that they can't. But when they
Mhm.
talk it through and they realize where that came from,
Mhm.
then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's why that was. But that was years ago. That's not me now.
Right.
And so I don't have to be I don't have to be a guru in every area
Mhm.
of life because we're working on mindset. And if
Right.
that's the problem, everything else opens up once we can get a
Absolutely.
grasp on that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta work on that mind first.
Hmm.
So
And just being
yeah,
positive, right? 'Cause that negativity, it can either
right.
be that I always say your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy,
All your worst. Yes.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
sometimes that's the biggest fight that many people have is their own mind. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Wow. So you've been doing so much, as we said, you are that prevention coordinator. Also tell us what that actually is with your
Okay. So,
prevention coordinator services and how that prepared you even for Unbreakable Minds.
mhm. Yes. So, Henrico Mental Health is the local CSB, the Community Services Board. And so,
Mhm.
for everyone who lives in Henrico, if you need mental health services, you can walk in the door and they'll find a way to serve you, right? And if they
Mhm.
can't serve you, they'll connect you to the people that you need to be connected to get the services that you need. Prevention services says, um, we have a portion of our organization that is out in the community trying to prevent um, the increase of risk factors, right? So to decrease risk factors and increase the protective factors, right? So we do everything that works with young people and families and communities to prevent alcohol, tobacco, substance abuse, and use and abuse. We so Me in particular, I'm a coordinator because I have a community based after school program. right?
Okay.
So within that program, we are housed in certain apartment communities, and we
Mhm.
serve the kids and the families in that community. And
Okay.
it's right there. So the kids get off the bus and they walk down to our program, and we provide tutorials and homework assistance. We provide evidence-based programs about, understanding alcohol, tobacco, and substances, over-the-counter drugs. Because sometimes parents are not comfortable having those conversations,
Mhm.
especially if you know
Right.
they've they're if I'm drinking alcohol, I
Right.
may have a hard time telling my kid don't drink alcohol,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but at the same time, you still need to educate them on the dangers. Even if this is the,
Mhm.
the life that you're choosing, you still need to educate them so that they know the danger. And the
Mhm.
main thing is, with young people, their brains are developing up until about the age of 25. And so, once you're 21 or so, you can make a decision how you do. But we're going to put prevention efforts in place to give you more positive experiences and more other things that you can do than feeling like you have to turn to alcohol, drugs, and tobacco, things like that. We also do violence prevention. So, especially with the number of youth that we're losing in this area, um,
Mhm.
we want to talk about the violence. We want to give the kids a safe space to talk about it. They go to
Mhm.
school and kids are fighting. My girl Candace. Um, yeah, thank you. But we want to provide a space for the kids to talk about it. They can
Mhm.
see, they're where they're losing their friends left and right, but no one's comfortable having the conversation. They go to school and
Right.
the teachers are afraid that the conversation will go in a direction that they can't manage.
Mhm.
And parents may be feeling the same way. And so we provide that, again, that safe space, because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to survive, and if their
Yeah.
safety is threatened, then they're going to fight, flight,
Mhm.
freeze. They're going to all those trauma responses are going to come out, and that's when you see the
Right.
violence in the community. Um young people are now, how you say, giving permanent solutions to temporary problems. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I go out
Yeah.
and I just go shoot somebody or beat
Right.
them down,
Right.
when
Right.
this will be over tomorrow, and you're going to be on to the next thing.
Mm.
So just
Yeah.
being able to have, and the parents love it. They're so grateful to us. And we provide anything. I do a needs assessment a couple of
Mhm.
times a year, and I just send out a survey and say, what do you need? I'll
Right.
list a bunch of things and a blank space, just go at it, and I will do
Mhm.
my best to connect them with those things. And so, being a connector, because if I have
Mhm.
somebody I feel comfortable with, then I might go to get those mental health services and not think as much
Mhm.
about the stigma. But if I just got to walk up to the mental
Right.
health
Right.
building, then, you know, I
Yeah.
might not do that on my own. So, how it's prepared me, just being able to be that resource and recognize the need of the
Mhm.
parents who need the
Absolutely.
support, who need the
Mhm.
support. And then being able to know the resources, right? So,
Mhm.
um, just just being able to provide those things to those families has equipped me. So when my parents that I coach are in need of certain things, I know where to go, or I know where to go to get the answer. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, but
it's been
I also see it as a way to see what you're working to help prevent, right?
right, right,
So when with Unbreakable Minds, even though they're older maybe than some of the people that you might deal with, but at least you know how to kind of catch them before they get to that point. Um,
yes.
so
Yes,
that
and the
sounds.
goal is to catch them before they leave the nest, right? While they're
Mhm.
still in this kind
Mhm.
of safe, protected environment,
Right.
to give them what they need while they're there, so that when they go out to the
Mhm.
real world, they are equipped, right? They have
Absolutely.
their toolkit that they carry with them, like
Yeah.
that whole breath work. That's free. That's
Right.
something that you that you carry with you all the time. You don't have
Mhm.
to get a permission slip signed. You don't have to go pay
Right.
anything. You know what I'm saying? But they just don't even know to do that. But yes, being able to see what we can prevent is just amazing. And I'm working with them from first grade to 12th grade in my prevention coordinator position. We have a teen job prep program. So, we work with them on teaching them job skills, and not just those hard skills that you go to school for and you get your certificate, but teaching them the soft skills, right? Knowing
Mm-hmm.
how to communicate, knowing how to manage their emotions, right? And that when
Mm-hmm.
somebody says something that you don't like, that we respond and not react, right? So
Right.
teaching them all those things that you won't learn in at the community college or at the tech
Mm-hmm.
program. They're teaching you the skill, the hard
Mm-hmm.
skill, but I want to give you the soft skill as well. And then we get them jobs. Like, we have a budget to get them jobs, and we pay them. So they volunteer for the organization, but
Yes.
we pay
Yes.
them a pretty good salary, right? And these are
Right.
14 and 15-year-olds. So they get to learn how to work
Mm-hmm.
in a safe environment, a safe, protected environment where they have an on-site
Beautiful.
supervisor, and I'm their off-site supervisor. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's such an amazing program. It's such an amazing
That is
program.
awesome. I love it. I love it. So
Yes.
now you just showed us so many different sides of Yolanda and all the
It's so
things that
much.
you're doing, but we haven't even touched some of the surfaces. you
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely. It's so
also
much
work
to do.
very diligently in your local church, and so now we just gonna go off the grid right here. So now you're also a marriage mentor in your local church, as well as doing other things within the ministry as well. So just tell us how that feels to be able to work now with adults in that area.
Right. It feels good because I get to do it with my husband. Right.
Mm,
And together, he and I are a power couple, right? People have told us
mm.
that for years, and we were like, "What? Stop!" We just, we had our ups and downs, we had our heated
Right,
fellowships.
right,
That's
right.
what we call our heated fellowship. But someone actually, we had three campuses at St. Paul's Baptist
Mm,
Church, and we were going to the Southside campus. And the pastor at the time, shout out to Dr. Lakeisha Cook, she saw us in the fifth row every Sunday with our whole family, my mother, my grandmother. She saw us. And when the lead pastor, Dr. Watson said, or Pastor Watson said, we want to get the marriage mentor going on at the
mhm.
South Campus. Who do you recommend?
Wow.
She came to us, and we were like, what? Say what? Right. And she said, we're looking for 3 or 4 couples, and we just think y'all would be amazing. And so, we prayed on it, we talked about it, and we was like, you know what, if this is God, what he would have us to do, then we're here for the assignment. And so we did that, and it was very interesting. Our first couple was, and we went on a retreat with other married couples, and so just to have that safe space for us to be able to talk about it and get some strategies from people who have been doing it for a while. And then we got our first couple, and so we work with them. And then they have, like, before you jump the broom classes and things like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So we've been invited to those sessions to be able to talk on
Mhm.
conflict resolution and communication and different things like that. So it's been awesome. With
Wow.
the pandemic, we kind of slowed down a little bit, but I think we're getting back into it.
Mhm.
But the major role that I serve in the ministry at church is we have Barnabas Counseling. And so you can go to the church to request counseling. And so
Mm.
somebody called me and asked me, I know you're a school counselor, I know you're a coach. Can you come and serve at the church as a youth counselor for our
Mm.
life stages from childhood all the way up to 29, right? So there's 2 life stages. And so I help in those areas as well. So,
Mm.
I mean, just
Yeah.
keep myself balanced and keep my own boundaries, right? And
Right.
self-care going and make sure I fill my cup and my tank is full and all that good stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I love it. I love it. And I'm modeling to my children because
I
I
was
try to,
getting yeah.
yeah, we
Uh,
go there, right?
I was getting ready to say, and you are a parent yourself, so
Hmm.
you also are interacting with your children, um, and so they can see all of this as well.
Yes. Yes, I have an
Mhm.
11-year-old Kendall and a 13-year-old Journey. They're both in middle school now. So I'm like, y'all made me a whole teen mom, right? So I'm talking to, I've been talking to parents all these years working with
Mhm.
middle school kids, and I didn't have either any kids or I had little kids. So now
Right.
I'm there right with y'all, you know?
Mhm.
So, if I ever thought I was unqualified, I'm going through it now. So I'm like, okay, I can speak from experience, right?
It prepared you for where you are now too.
Absolutely. It's all a part of the
That's
journey.
awesome.
My daughter turned 13. I said, guess what? You on the staff of Unbreakable Minds now. You a teenager. So she's like, how much am I
Yeah,
gonna get paid?
right.
Yes, but
Yeah,
she
you
is
got to
my
put
first staff
everybody
member.
to work. You got to put everybody to
Absolutely.
work. And so,
Absolutely.
so let's just divert right there. So, tell us, do you work with both girls and boys with Unbreakable Minds? I know you do in other arenas, but with Unbreakable Minds, is it girls and boys?
Great question. So I originally set out to coach girls and boys, right? And my husband, as Coach Curtis, as he's finding his passion and his purpose, and I had to ask him one day. I'm like, what is it that you want to do? What could you wake up in the middle of the night and just do without thinking about it? What would you do for free if you could do it? And he was like, I want to work with kids. And I was like, well, let's get it. I've been doing this for
Right.
years. I know the space. Come on in. So very shortly after I started Unbreakable Minds, he took his business a turn from doing um, small business consulting to now being a professional mentor and coach for young boys ages 10 through 18. So the way we do it is, if I'm working with someone and a young man presents himself in need, then I refer them to Coach Curtis. If he's
Okay.
working with someone and a young lady presents a need, then they send them to Coach Yolanda, right? So right now we are Unbreakable Minds and New Collar Solutions. And he's the king builder. He has the king's corner, and he is, part of the kingdom building kings, right? And so it's
Okay.
so awesome. He works mostly with 10 through 18, but again, he will go out of that range as well. So we can serve girls and boys. I just contract him out.
Right, 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 right. Do you get a cut? Do you get a cut, sister?
Listen. I'm like, can I get my $8? Can I get my $8?
You got to get that cut.
Yes, yes. And then,
That's awesome.
in certain areas where there are girls and boys, we get to show up together, right? The Boys and Girls Club, they had a teen summit, and, they had asked me to come kind of representing my mental health side as well as my coaching side. And I'm like, Coach Curtis is right
Right.
here sitting next to me. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, bring him too. And so we
Mhm.
forged a relationship with them, and continuing to serve them at their teen center here in Richmond. So, it's just been amazing. And I figured, the best way to make it work for us as a family is to invite our girls in as well to participate as much as they would like to. Um,
Mhm.
so that they can be a strong person amongst their peer group, right?
Right.
And they could be a
Mhm.
positive influence, and they can show that you could still be cool and you could still be cute and flying all that stuff and down whatever, but still be your
Mhm.
own person and have your own mind and don't feel like you
Right.
have to follow the crowd. Because my girls, they not they come home and they still talking to me. So I'm like, I got to keep it going while they talking.
Right.
If I move too far to the left, they're gonna shut down and I'm gonna be in trouble. So I'm consciously parenting myself. So I
Nice.
that's what I'm teaching my parents, and when I'm teaching the young folks. But when I teach it, I get to learn it again, right?
That's
Anything I teach,
awesome.
I get to learn it again, and it's amazing.
That is so awesome. Listen, it's been such an amazing conversation or chat, as I love to say.
Yeah.
So tell me what's on the horizon for Coach Yolanda and Unbreakable Minds. Anything new or anything, special coming up?
Right, right. So our main goal is to create community with these young folks, right? So if I'm the connector, that they all find each other through me. So I'm
Mhm,
wanting to build communities. I had to go on Instagram because that's where they are, and I'm trying to get used to
mhm.
TikTok. Lord help me. Um, but creating that community for young people, that safe space where they can go,
Awesome.
virtually and in person as we have events.
Nice.
Um, I just recently did a mother daughter circle, It was my
Mhm.
first, and when I tell you that thing packed a powerful punch, we had a good time, and it just again confirmed, God sends me constant confirmation when I'm asking him what is next, what would you have me
Mhm.
to do, because ultimately he is the CEO of Unbreakable Minds,
Absolutely.
and so I just try to keep my ear open and look and ask for confirmation. And that mother-daughter group, it's a support group for mothers and daughters, recognizing
Mhm.
in these years that relationship is so important.
Mhm.
I'm grateful to have my mother still here, and even my grandmother who just turned
Right.
89. And a
Yeah.
lot of people can't say that. And
Yeah.
these young ladies out here, are parents, and so we all just need each other. So that mother daughter circle is something that I am going to duplicate, and we're going to do the 8-week session. I'm just waiting right now on a grant approval, and if it's not approved, we still
Okay.
gonna make it happen.
Ab-
Um, but yes,
Absolutely.
the mother daughter circle. We have throughout the year vision board parties or workshop, whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it. And we can do it on any topic. If it's self care, if it's self love, if it's confidence, if it's communication, we can do a vision board around it and invite those vibes and that energy into our lives, right?
Okay.
Um, my sister Candace, who is here in the audience, she works with childhood trauma, and I'm also a
Mm.
ACEs trainer, and so I train people on the negative impacts of childhood trauma. So I will
Wow.
continue to make as many spaces as I can trauma informed, but now
Absolutely.
also inviting the young people in to learn strategies to calm their nervous system and to be able
Mhm.
to manage their emotions and their mental so that they can live, you know
That's
they can live
beautiful.
life abundantly with no limits, no walls,
Yeah.
and that wall of their mind first and
Mhm.
foremost to work on that. So
That's
um and
awesome.
and I'm accepting clients. I need like two more. I mean, not I need, but I'm looking for two more clients. That's all I can handle. um but
Okay.
definitely high school,
At
college
this
age
time, that's all you can handle.
at this time. And I'll tell you, I have a team that I'm putting together of some really
Absolutely.
powerful people. And so, God is sending me folks who he knows that I'm going to need as we continue to grow. I told somebody, oh gosh, I can't take no more. And they said, why not? You just
Yeah.
build your team and you
Absolutely.
serve your team. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to do it all by myself. That's right.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, so those are some things. And when people call me and I help them assess their needs and figure out what they need, then we figure out if what we're doing is something that can serve them, or we create something that can serve them because
Mhm.
there's other people out there who need that as well.
Okay. So I have this email. Is that the correct email for them to reach out to you?
Yes, ma'am. Coaching at unbreakableminds.org. And I am on Facebook and Instagram at Unbreakable Minds Coaching, all together.
Okay.
Unbreakable Minds with an S coaching.
Hmm.
I'm on LinkedIn as Yolanda W. Hall. I am on TikTok, but don't go there yet. I'm still working on it.
That's what I say.
Soon come, soon come.
It's
Yes.
there somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. That's going to be Journey's job. My 13-year-old, her job is to get
Right,
me on
right,
TikTok
right.
successfully.
Wow, it's been so awesome. It's been so awesome chatting with you. And everything that you have poured out today has been amazing to allow um, others to know about some great opportunities, even for their youth, because we are so busy now where everybody's trying to, find themselves and build up their own selves. But what about the young people? What about the babies? What about the kids?
Right.
So we
Right.
do have to also make sure that we, as you said, find safe spaces for them as well, where they
Mhm.
can be empowered and grow. And so this is such an amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity for our young people. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to take it upon myself to ask you, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit right here,
Uh-oh.
but a lot of kids actually went back to school today. Some went back to school, I think, 2 weeks ago, and then some are
Mhm.
going back to school in next week.
September. Mhm. Yeah.
So I just want you to take a time. I'm gonna move out of the screen myself. I want you to take a moment. You can just do get encouraging word to the families, of the young people, or You can even say a prayer if you would like over our children and young people that are getting ready to go back into school. You don't have to pray if that's not what you do, but you can do it. But just give them an encouraging word on how, how to make it through this next school season, because there's so much going on with the school. And I don't have any kids. And I just said to somebody today, if I had to be a teacher, Lord Jesus,
Mhm.
and it's a
Yes.
lot going on. So just talk to the parents a little bit for a moment, okay?
Okay. I'm talking to the
All
parents.
right.
Yes. Well, thank you, Gwen, just for this opportunity to be here,
Absolutely.
for the opportunity to just remind parents that you are not alone. Like we are all going through this time together. We are all trying to figure it out, right? We don't have to have all of the answers. We just have to be willing to show up. We have to be willing to be vulnerable. We have to be willing to say that I'm okay. I'm not okay if I'm not okay. We have to again create those circles of support. Build your village, because this job as parents was not meant for us to do alone. And some people are single parents, and so just because you're a single parent doesn't mean that you have to do it alone, right? Listen to your kids. Listen to your kids, because if you don't allow them to a safe space to speak their heart and let you know what's going on with them, um, then they're going to shut down, and you're going to see what's going on with them through their behavior, right? And then the school starts calling, the after school program starts calling, right? And you're trying to figure out, how do I solve this? If you think you need help or your child needs help, um, ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness. It is actually the biggest sign of strength to be able to say, you know what, this is what I need, and I'm going to make sure that I have this for my child and for my family. I definitely want to talk about self care. Self care is not selfish. I've had this conversation so many times in the past few weeks. Um, just because things come at us that are unexpected, right? Things come at us. We can't plan for everything. We there's so much unknown out there, but you have to be willing to fill your own cup first, put your own oxygen mask on first, without any guilt, any shame, any embarrassment, anything. Just understanding that you need to fill your cup first and take care of you before you can take care of anybody else. Um, they even tell you on a plane, if this plane goes down or we experience some turbulence, put your own oxygen mask on first. And so the first thing I would say to all the parents out there is to take care of yourself and determine what you need, and get the village to come in and help you and help care for the kids while you go do what you need to do for you. But build yourself up first before you can be there for your children. And then, like I said, listen, listen, listen to understand, not to respond. A lot of us, and when I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself. A lot of us, we're parents, we've been there, we've done that, and we want to tell our children because we want to protect them. But we have to let them live, and we have to give them room to breathe, and we have to allow them to be seen, heard, and understood. And we don't want to take that away from them. So create the environment, and then just listen. You'll find out some things that was happening right in front of you, but you didn't know because so much was going on. um, Take time to be together, to sit at the table, to eat dinner together, to go out to dinner together, to do activities together. um, and then be an advocate for your child at school. And if you don't feel comfortable going to school, um, then find someone. Like I said, everybody you need is 1 degree of separation from you. So find someone that you feel comfortable with that can go into the school with you and help you articulate your needs to the staff, to the teachers. As my kids were in elementary school, every single year I went to the school and I told the teachers, listen, let me tell you about my child. Let me tell you when they're going to speak, when they're not going to speak. Let me tell you what's their triggers. Let me tell you about my child. So you already know that if you see this behavior, then I've already told you about it. So you know what to do. right? So be that advocate for your child, that voice that they can't be that. And then encourage, tell them that they're beautiful, tell them that they're loved, encourage them every day, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable with them and let them know that you are trying to figure it out, right? That you love them, you're going to keep them safe, you're going to do what you can, but you're trying to figure it out too, and you don't have all the answers, and that is okay, because at the end of the day, you're going to do what's in their best interest. And as long as they know that and they walk with that confidence, they will show up in the world totally different. They will show up with that confidence that you model. They will show up being able to be vulnerable that you model. They will show up knowing to take care of themselves, right? They're looking to you for how to how to live and have how to manage this thing we call life, right? So I just implore you to take care of yourselves, take care of your kids. Don't overwhelm yourself, don't overload yourself. Things can wait, even work, right? If you need a mental health day, then take a mental health day. Like, do what you need to do. So, I'm not going to say a prayer, but I do keep all the young people, all the parents, all the people who are serving young people in my prayers all the time. That God will give you and grant you what it is that you need in order to show up. When I coach people, I know that what they seek in life, they already have within them. It's just me as a coach there to provide that safe space to bring it out. Um, so you got this, parents, y'all got this, and if you need help, ask for help. And even if you want to call me, you don't even know what you need, and you want to call, and you just want to talk and try to get some clarity on some things, there's no fee for that, because we're a part of the village. So we're here um, doing the kingdom work, right? We're doing the hard work. And so we're here for you just to get some clarity and help give you some direction and support you along your journey. So that's what I have to say.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. There was a prayer in there. Don't worry about it. God
Yes,
hears our prayers in different
yes,
ways.
yes,
Okay?
yes.
Don't
God will
don't worry
provide
about it.
in
Yes.
Jesus' name.
Awesome.
Amen.
Awesome. see, and you topped it off with Jesus' name. Yes.
Yes, it's done. It's done.
Amen.
It's going to be an
Amen.
amazing
So
year. It's going to be a good year. This is,
absolutely,
you
absolutely.
know,
I really believe that this will
mhm.
be a much greater year than the past. And I think some of the kids actually did well, even being at home, and some did better being at home.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
there's different, there's different levels, there's different results.
Right,
But this year, I think people will appreciate certain things a little bit more and be more understanding. So
right.
I just want to say to you again, thank you so much. Thank you all for hanging out with us. You stayed with
Yes,
us. It's a little longer than we expected, but it's good information. When it's good information, I try not to cut it off and all that, because we really want to get as much information as possible. And there's the proud mama.
that's
Amazing.
my
That's
mama. Yes,
one.
thanks for support.
Nothing.
Unwavering support.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what it takes. That's what it takes,
Mhm.
a village. And so thank you for the support to all those who have come today, even to join us. Make sure that you come back and join us again.
Yes.
We are here on Mondays at 8 p.m. Thank you so much, Miss Yolanda. We really appreciate you joining us in Miss G's Ladies Lounge. And I look
Yes. Thank you
forward
for
to
having me.
speaking to you again real soon, speaking with you again
Yes.
real soon.
Yes. Yes. I
Thank
always have
you.
another, I already have another idea. So I'm gonna be calling you. Something that your
Call me,
audience
girl.
probably needs to hear.
Call me. Wait, let me get the phone. Call me.
Call me, right. I have your number. I have your number.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Have a great
Amen.
night, everybody.
Thank you. You too. You too. All right. All right, everybody. So thank you so much once again for hanging out with me here in Miss G's Ladies Lounge. It has been a fantabulous evening, and I'm so excited about all the things that God is getting ready to do. I told my guest on last week, we had the gentleman who spoke with us about teen sex and the books that he wrote. Not that we are promoting teen sex, we are trying to curb the appetite of teen sex and showing people a better way to live. And tonight, Yolanda just topped it all off on with some of the things that she's doing with the life skills and everything. See how God just works things out. So we are, you never know what might pop up with all of us. So just stay tuned, as they say, stay vigilant and stay alert. We look forward to, thank you. Thank you, Miss Candace. We look forward to seeing you all once again real soon. So join us back here on next Monday. That will be, no, wait, next Monday is a holiday. But guess what? I might be here anyway. So just keep a watch out for our announcements. It is Labor Day. Hey, we might have some great partying going on right here. All right. Thank you again. Have a good night. Remember that God loves you, and so do I.